In this lecture, we're going to be talking about position sizing. So we've talked about money management, how we don't want to lose too much in our portfolio. We've also talked about risk management, how we want to reduce the risk on a given trade. So if we lose a few trades in a row, we don't lose too much in our portfolio. And when we talked about risk management, we said that one of the techniques is through stop losses. So a risk limitation technique. And this is done by doing proper position sizing. Okay? So whenever you're placing a stop to reduce your risk, you're going to be able to calculate how much of a position you want to take based on the level of risk you want to take. So for example, let's say you have an account that has $10,000. Well, how much of that account are you willing to lose on any given trade? Right? How much of that $10,000 are you willing to lose? Well, we've said that if you have a good strategy, you're going to be winning about 65% of the time, losing 35% of the time. To keep it simpler, let's say you're winning 60% of the time and losing 40%. So if you're losing 40% of the time, then, it's a big chance of you on losing a trade. Let's say for that $10,000, you're willing to lose 2%. Or let's say you're willing to lose 10%. Well, you have a 40% chance of losing 10%. What are the odds of you losing not only 10%, but not only one trade, but two trades in a row? Well, what are the odds? Let's calculate them. I have an Excel a calculator here. So 40% chance of losing one trade times, then what's the chance of losing another trade? 40%. So you have 16% chance of losing two trades in a row. So 16% chance of losing 20% of your account. That's huge. Well, what's the chance of you losing a third time in a row? So times 0.4. Well, now we're at 6% chance of losing 3 trades in a row. 4 trades in a row. 5 trades in a row. So you have 1% chance of losing 5 trades in a row. Now, if you're betting 10% of your account, each trade, and you lose 5 trades in a row, you're losing 50% of your account. And we've seen that if you lose 50% of your account, that's a huge hole that's going to be very hard to dig yourself out of. And losing 5 trades in a row is actually not that unlikely. 1%, it's a percentage chance. And if you're trading for the long term, it's going to end up happening. You are going to have 5 losing trades in a row. So because of this, what we have to do is decide on a smaller maximum loss per trade. Now, the rule of thumb is to use something around 2%. Why? Because if you use 2%, then if you lose 5 trades in a row, you just lost 10%, and that's nothing. And let's say if you lost 10 trades in a row, what are the odds of that? So this is 6 trades, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a very small, that's a 0.01% of 0.01%, right? It's a very small amount, okay? So the odds of, times 100, so it's 0.01%. That's the odds of losing, 10 trades in a row for a strategy that has a 60% chance of winning and 40% chance of losing. Now, this can happen, right? So if it does happen, and you're betting 2% of your account, well, how much would you lose? You would lose 20%. And if you lose 20%, it's not the end of the world. You can come back from that easily. So, having a tight max loss per trade is going to help you preserving your capital, which is what we've said is very important. Now, the least risk you take per trade, the less amount of a position you can get, meaning the less money you will make as well. So depending on you can play around with this. So people who have bigger accounts, they're going to reduce the risk. They're not going to take 2% risk. If you have $100,000, you're not going to take 2% risk per trade. You might take 1 or even a bit less, But if you're starting off and you only have a few $100s, then you might take more risk than that. The thing is, you have to be aware that you're taking more risk. Because maybe you tell yourself, look, I have only this little amount of money. I have to take more risk. So I make more money and I grow my account. And then when I grow my account, I'm going to reduce the risk. But the problem is during this period, if you're taking more risk and the risk materializes, then you will be losing that big amount. So you have to be aware of that and you have to accept it, right? If you're saying, look, I only have a few $100s, a small amount, and I'm taking huge risks, okay, but understand that risk means something bad that can happen, and that risk materializes, right? It's not because you take risk that the bad thing isn't going to happen. You can take risk and go sell your house and buy lottery tickets. That's a risk. Do you want to take it? No. So, you don't just want to take unnecessary risk. So what I suggest is following something like this. If you have a small account and you want to do a bit bigger, okay, but my suggestion would be to still have tight risk, and instead of betting big to try and make money, just, find a way to increase that capital instead of just taking more risk. The people who succeed are people who have tight risk management in a way. So what are the steps to calculate your position sizing based on the risk level that you're going to take? One, first decide on your max loss per trade. Then the next steps, calculate the dollar max loss for the position. And that's going to depend on your balance, okay? So if you have $10,000 in your account and you're willing to lose 2%, then you're willing to lose $200. So here we calculate $200. Then the next step is decide on your entry price, decide on your stop loss price, and then you're able to calculate your position size. And we're going to do an example of that. And then there's going to be the function for your position size, how many coins you're going to buy, is going to be basically your max loss in dollars, which is 200, divided by entry price minus stop loss price. Now, later on in this section, I'm going to give you an Excel sheet that's going to help you with a bunch of the things we're talking about in this section. And it's also going to have a position sizing calculator. You can put the data and it'll calculate it for you, but you want to know how it's calculated. So you can actually do it by yourself because the calculation is pretty simple. Okay. So let's say I'm looking at a coin like this. I'm looking at EOS. Then maybe I'm looking, and let's put a daily chart. Doesn't really matter. Maybe I'm looking at it and I see that there's a good support here. And I'm doing something random here. It doesn't really matter. It's just for us to do an example of calculating position sizing. Let me actually put it back on a 4-hour chart. Yeah, let's say I think that there's a support here at this level. So I want to buy this coin. Okay, it's trading at $3.65. And I'm willing to buy here. And if it goes down, I'm going to take my loss. Where? Well, maybe I'll take it somewhere just below the support. Or if I want to be even safer, there's $3 is here. $3 is probably going to be a big support because it's a very big round number. I might want to put my stop loss below. So it's up to you. But you're going to decide on your entry price, which right now is $3.65. Okay. And then, the take profit doesn't matter for now. And then you're going to decide on your stop loss. So let's say if I think I want to take my loss if it breaks this support level, so at 325, then that's where I'm going to put it. And then my take profit might be somewhere, my take profits might be somewhere higher. So I can't actually, okay, I can't move it anymore. But yeah, then I could put my take profit higher. But it doesn't matter about, the take profit doesn't matter for now. The way we calculate how much of a position we buy is by looking at how much we can lose. Yeah, we want to make as much money, but the important thing that we need to manage is how much we can lose. Because if we make too much money, it's not the end of the world. But if we lose too much money, that's the end of the world. So in this situation, I calculated my entry price and my exit price. So I remember the formula. It's going to be $200, the amount of money that we're willing to lose, divided by, and we have our entry price, which is $3.65, minus the stop loss price, which in this case is $3.25. And this gives us 500 coins. And it makes sense, right? Because if I have 500 coins and I buy them at $3.65 and the price starts losing, right? The price starts dropping. Well, how much is it going to drop by before I take my loss? It's going to drop from $3.65 to $3.25. That's a drop of how much? That's a drop of 40 cents. Okay. Now, if I lose 40 cents times 500 coins, I'm losing what? $200. So basically in this way, I calculated the optimal amount of coins that I need to buy so that if the price goes against me and it reaches my stop loss where I decided I'm out, I'm moving to my next trade, then the maximum amount of money that I lose is 200, which is what I calculated is going to follow the 2% rule for my account. In that way, even if I have 10 bad trades in a row like this, I'm only losing 200 times 10, 2,000, which is 20% of my account, which is what I calculated as, the maximum amount of money that I want to lose. So this is how you're going to calculate your position size, and this is how you're going to manage your risk. That way you never lose more than you have to. This is position sizing, and we'll keep working on top of this in the next lecture.